is not always kind. There are people who will wound you, break your trust, take from you what was never theirs to claim. They may come wearing smiles, dressed in the robes of friendship, cloaked in the warmth of love, only to reveal, when the moment is ripe, that their hands are full of thorns meant for your back. The pain they leave behind is not merely in the flesh, but in the spirit. It lingers in the quiet hours of the night, whispering to you, making you question, making you doubt, making you wonder why justice seems so slow to arrive. But justice has never been a thing of haste. It does not rush to meet its prey, nor roar as it makes its way through the world. It moves quietly with the patience of eternity, shaping itself not in the ways we expect, but in the ways that are most fitting. Those who harm you, who cut you down with their words, who use you as a stepping stone for their own desires, they do not go unseen. The world has a way of balancing itself, and that balance does not require your hands to tip the scales. Now, imagine this. You are standing in a storm. The winds howl, the rain beats against your skin, and the ground beneath you feels unsteady. You see someone standing not too far away, laughing at your suffering, untouched by the storm. They have caused your pain, and yet here they are, unbothered, unshaken. You wonder, when will the storm touch them? When will the wind shift in your favor? And then something happens. Something quiet, something unexpected, something unseen by most, but it happens, and the world listens. Pain is a slow-moving river. It carves through the soul the way water carves stone, imperceptible at first, but deep and lasting over time. When someone wounds you, it is not just the moment of injury that stays. It is the echo of it, the ripple that extends beyond the strike itself. And when the one who hurt you walks away untouched by the wreckage they leave behind, it feels like the world is unjust, like suffering has no answer. But there are forces at work far greater than sight allows. The one who throws a stone into the river may turn their back and walk away, believing their act has ended, but the river remembers. It carries the weight of that stone, shifting, adjusting, until one day the current returns it, shaped and smooth, to the feet of the very one who cast it. They do not know when it will come, only that it will. Those who have wronged you often believe they have escaped untouched. They wear their laughter like a crown, their confidence unshaken, their steps light as they move through the world, believing their actions have no consequence. But nothing moves in one direction forever. The world turns, and with it, so do the fates of all who walk upon it. The one who spoke ill of you, who spread lies like seeds in the wind, may find themselves trapped in a harvest they did not expect. The one who took from you your time, your trust, your dignity, may find their hands empty in moments they most needed them to be full. The one who made you cry may one day look for comfort and find only silence where voices once surrounded them. But you must not wait for it. You must not let your heart be consumed by the hope of seeing their downfall, for in doing so you tie yourself to them, make yourself a prisoner of their fate. And your spirit was never meant for chains. It was meant to rise, to move forward, to grow beyond what was done to you. The quiet hand of balance does not seek revenge. For revenge is a thing of the impatient, of the restless, of those who believe they must take matters into their own hands. No, the balance that exists is one of restoration. It does not act in anger, nor does it tremble with rage. It moves with purpose, with wisdom, with the certainty that what has been set into motion will find its end in due time. The strongest tree in the forest does not concern itself with the weeds that grow around it. It stretches toward the sky, drinks in the light, and lets its roots deepen into the earth. So too must you. You are not meant to linger in the shadows of those who wrong you. You are not meant to carry their burden longer than the moment they placed it upon you. You are meant to grow, to rise, to flourish despite them. There will be days when you do not see it, days when it feels as if those who have harmed you are still thriving, untouched, while you struggle to find your footing. But that is the illusion of time. You do not yet see the weight they carry, the consequence that waits for them at a turn they have not yet reached. It is not your place to stand and watch for it. It is your place to keep walking, to move beyond, to step into the light that has always been meant for you. And as for those who hurt you, they may never know the moment when the balance is set right. They may not understand why the doors they once walked through so easily now remain shut. They may not recognize why their victories feel hollow, their laughter strained, their steps heavier than before. But it will come. The river will return its stone. The wind will shift, and justice, quiet as a whisper, certain as the dawn, will arrive. Pain moves in circles, never in straight lines. The one who wounds may walk away believing they have left the past behind, believing they have outrun consequence, believing they are free from the weight of what they have done, but nothing is ever truly left behind. What is given to the world, in words, in actions, in the sharp edges of cruelty, has a way of making its way back, slow at times, swift at others, but always sure in its return. There are those who have smiled in your face and whispered daggers behind your back. They have taken your kindness and worn it as a disguise to shield themselves while they tore you down. They have watched you struggle, watched you break, and felt no tremor in their hearts, no hesitation in their hands. They have believed in their foolishness that power comes from pushing others down, that strength is measured in the suffering of those they have used, that victory is found in deception, in manipulation, in control. But what they fail to understand is that power does not rest in the hands of those who destroy. It does not belong to the ones who tear down, who take, who diminish. True power is found in the quiet endurance of those who rise despite it all. Strength is in the one who was cast aside and yet stands taller. Victory belongs to the one who was betrayed and yet did not let bitterness rot their spirit. The ones who hurt you, who played their games and wove their lies, they do not hold the final thread in this tapestry of life. They may have woven darkness into your story, but they do not get to decide the ending. Their hands have been busy, oh yes, they have been busy planting thorns in your path, laughing as you stumbled, believing that your fall was the final word. But what they do not see is that the ground beneath them shifts as well, that the very same thorns they scattered will one day greet them on a road they did not expect. The echoes of their laughter will find them in the quiet moments, when no one is watching, when the weight of their choices settles upon their shoulders. They may not feel it at first. No, they may continue forward, untouched for a time, believing they have won. But the world does not move on their command. The balance does not tip in their favor simply because they wish it so. There will come a day when the path they walk grows heavy, when the choices they have made line the road ahead, forcing them to meet one by one, the consequences they thought they had left behind. And you, standing where they left you, may be tempted to wait for that moment, to hold your breath in anticipation of their fall. But that is not your burden to carry. Their reckoning does not belong to you. What is meant for them will find them, whether you are watching or not. And while they are bound to the weight of their own making, you are meant to rise, to move forward, to leave behind the wreckage they tried to bury you in. There is a kind of justice that does not make a sound. It does not come with trumpets or grand displays. It moves in the unseen corners, in the shifting of fate, in the quiet unraveling of all that was built upon deception. The one who stole from you will one day find themselves emptied of what they thought they had gained. The one who mocked your struggles will one day reach for comfort and find none. The one who used your trust as a stepping stone will one day look around and realize that there is no one left to catch them when they fall. You do not need to witness it to know it is true. You do not need to keep your eyes on those who wronged you, waiting for their suffering, measuring their pain against your own. For in doing so, you remain tied to them, bound by the chains of their wrongdoing. You were never meant to be shackled to the ones who hurt you. You were meant to be free. They may carry on as if nothing has happened, as if the harm they caused was a passing wind, forgotten as soon as it arrived. But life does not forget. The heart they trampled, the trust they shattered, the love they misused, these things leave marks not only on those who suffered, but on those who inflicted the suffering. The harm they caused does not leave them unchanged. They may walk forward, but the ground beneath them is no longer solid. Their steps are not as sure as they once were. And one day, without warning, they will feel it. It may come in a moment of stillness, when they are alone with their thoughts, and suddenly the weight of what they have done presses down upon them, undeniable, inescapable. It may come in the form of a loss they never expected, in the unraveling of something they once held dear. It may come not in one great reckoning, but in small, steady waves, washing over them again and again, until they are forced to see the truth of their own hands. That is not your concern. You are not meant to wait by the shore, counting the waves as they reach them. You are meant to step into your own light, to move toward the life that is waiting for you beyond the shadows of their actions. You do not need to watch them fall to know that justice has been served. You do not need to carry anger in your heart to know that balance has been restored. Because justice is not about watching them suffer. It is not about taking pleasure in their pain. It is about knowing that what was taken from you, what was broken, what was lost, will not remain so forever. It is about knowing that the harm done to you does not define you, does not dictate the course of your life, does not hold power over your future. Let them go. Let their actions be their own undoing. Let their choices shape their fate while you step forward into yours. For while they are looking over their shoulders, waiting for the consequences to arrive, you will be too far ahead to see them anymore. Pain lingers in places no one else can see. It curls itself into the quiet corners of the soul, pressing against the walls of memory, whispering its reminders when the world has long since moved on. You have known that pain. You have felt the weight of betrayal, the sting of unkind words, the silence of those who once swore they would stand by you. You have carried wounds that did not bleed but ached all the same. And through it all, you have wondered, where is the justice? Where is the hand that rights the wrongs? You have seen those who hurt you go about their lives as if nothing had happened. You have watched them laugh, watched them prosper, watched them gather new friends, new victories, new moments of joy, while you still carried the scars they left behind. And it has made you wonder if the world is fair at all, if suffering is simply meant to go unanswered, if those who wound others are ever held accountable for the harm they cause. But nothing in this world is without consequence. What is done in darkness does not remain hidden forever. The choices people make carve themselves into their futures, shaping the roads they will one day walk. The one who betrays trust will find themselves surrounded by mirrors, each one reflecting back the emptiness of their own making. The one who breaks hearts for sport will one day search for love and find that it eludes them, slipping through their fingers like sand. The one who steals, whether it be joy, peace, time, or truth, will one day look around and realize they have gained nothing at all. At first, they may not notice. They may go on believing that they are untouched, that their actions have no price. that they have outmaneuvered fate itself. But the seeds they have sown will take root in places they cannot see. The harm they have done does not vanish simply because they refuse to acknowledge it. It lingers, it waits, it grows, until one day, when they least expect it, they will walk into the harvest of their own making. And what a strange harvest it will be, for they will not recognize it at first. They will not connect their suffering to the suffering they caused. They will cry out at the unfairness of life, bewildered by the doors that once opened so easily but now remain locked. They will wonder why their joy feels hollow, why their victories feel weightless, why their laughter does not reach the depths of their soul. They will reach for comfort and find none, and only then, in the quiet solitude of their own consequence, will they begin to understand. But by then, you will be far beyond them. You will have walked a different road, one paved not by bitterness, but by healing. You will have chosen not to wait for their downfall, not to tether yourself to the hope of seeing their pain, but to free yourself from the chains of their actions entirely. For justice is not about revenge. It is not about watching another suffer in equal measure. It is about restoration, about balance, about knowing that life does not allow harm to remain untouched. Your wounds, though deep, do not own you. They do not define you. They do not hold power over the life you are meant to live. You have been given the strength to rise, to step forward, to claim the joy that is still waiting for you. And though the pain they caused may have shaped you, it does not get to dictate the course of your future. You have known nights of sorrow, but the morning still comes. You have felt the weight of betrayal, but your heart still beats. You have been torn down, but you are still here. And that is the greatest justice of all, that despite everything you have endured, you have not been defeated by their cruelty, nor have you been broken by their actions. You have risen, you have survived, and in doing so, you have claimed a victory far greater than any punishment they could ever receive. And as for those who have wronged you, they will walk their own path. They will answer for what they have done, not by your hand, but by the turning of the world itself. They will come to know the weight of their choices, whether in this season or the next. They will feel the absence of the things they once took for granted. They will come to understand in their own time that harm does not go unanswered, that suffering does not vanish into the wind. But you will not wait for it. You will not stand at the edge of their path hoping to witness their reckoning. You will be too busy living, too busy loving, too busy becoming all that you were meant to be. You will have moved beyond them, beyond their cruelty, beyond their reach. And in that freedom, in that light, you will know that you have already won. Life moves in ways unseen, in currents that shift beneath the surface where no eyes can follow. You have wondered why those who wounded you seem untouched, why they carry on with their laughter, their ease, their seemingly unshaken peace. You have watched them thrive while you nursed your wounds, watched them bask in light while you sat in the shadows they cast upon you. You have questioned whether there is any balance at all, whether harm can truly go without answer, whether pain inflicted on another can simply dissolve into nothing. But nothing dissolves into nothing. Every word spoken in cruelty, every betrayal, every deception, every callous act sent into the world moves like a stone dropped into water. The ripples extend, unseen at first, soft and subtle, but they move outward, ever outward, until one day they reach the shore. And when they return, they do not return empty. They carry with them the weight of all that was sent forth, shaped by the journey, magnified by time. You do not see the moment the foundation begins to crack. You do not hear the first whisper of unease that settles in their chest. You are not meant to, for the unraveling of their path is not yours to witness, not yours to control, not yours to anticipate. It happens in the quiet hours, when the world is not watching. It happens in moments that seem ordinary, in decisions that appear small, but carry great consequence. It happens when they reach for something they once held with ease and find it slipping through their grasp. There is no alarm that sounds when balance is restored. There is no announcement when justice finds its way home. It does not come in the form of dramatic retribution, of grand displays of suffering. It comes in the subtleties of life shifting around them, in the doors that no longer open, in the warmth that no longer reaches them, in the restless nights and hollow victories that taste like dust upon their tongue. They may search for answers, bewildered by the weight that suddenly presses upon them. They may not recognize it as the return of what they once sent forth. They may believe themselves to be merely unlucky, to have fallen victim to chance. They will not remember the wounds they inflicted, the harm they caused, the trust they shattered. But life remembers. Life does not forget the hands that sowed discord, nor does it allow the harvest to be reaped by another. They will face what they have created, whether they recognize it or not. But you must not concern yourself with their fate. You must not sit by the road waiting for the moment they stumble. That is not your path. That is not your purpose. You have been given more than the pain they caused. You have been given the chance to rise beyond it, to step into a light they can never dim, to become more than what they tried to take from you. There is a strength in you that they did not anticipate. They believed that their actions would break you, that their words would bury you, that their betrayal would be enough to silence the fire in your soul. But they did not know the depth of your spirit, the resilience that burns within you, the way you are made not of weakness, but of something far greater. You have endured, and in that endurance you have triumphed. They may never acknowledge what they have done. They may never apologize, never admit their wrongs, never offer the closure you once thought you needed. But closure is not something they have the power to give. It is something you claim for yourself when you decide that their actions no longer hold power over you. It is something you step into when you release the weight of waiting, when you choose to live as though their harm has no hold on your future. And one day, without warning, you will find that you no longer think of them as you once did. Their name will no longer stir the same ache in your chest. Their memory will no longer tighten around your heart. They will become what they were always meant to be, something that shaped you but did not define you, something that tested you but did not break you, something that passed through your life but did not remain. For that is the true justice, the quiet and undeniable truth that those who sought to harm you have already failed. They failed the moment you continued forward, the moment you refused to be bound by the wounds they inflicted, the moment you chose to live in a way that defied their intentions. They may have caused you pain, but they did not destroy you. They may have tried to dim your light, but here you are, still shining, still standing, still moving toward all that was meant for you. And while they face the consequences of their own making, you will have already stepped into something greater. You will have walked through the fire and emerged stronger. You will have turned your pain into wisdom, your suffering into strength. You will have learned that true power does not come from vengeance, but from rising above. And in that rising, you will have already won. You were never meant to be weighed down by the actions of those who wronged you, their cruelty, their deceit, their betrayals. None of it has the power to define you unless you allow it. Justice does not belong in your hands, nor does it require your watchful eye. It moves in silence, in ways unseen, in moments unexpected. Life ensures that no harm goes unanswered, that no wound inflicted upon another is left without consequence. But your journey is not about them. It is about your healing, your growth, your rise beyond the pain they tried to leave you in. They are bound to the fate they have created, but you are free. Free to live without bitterness, free to embrace joy, free to walk forward unburdened. And in that freedom, in that unwavering strength, you have already won. That is your justice, your triumph, your undeniable victory.